Are you ready? Okay, so here we got Timothy De La Ghetto, now Tim Chantarangsu. So good for him for moving on up. And he is our second guest rapper ever. And Tim here is an actual rapper as well as the host of a popular internet comedy channel. I didn't watch his stuff at the time, but from what I can tell, he was a pretty big get as far as internet celebs went.
It's so big. Which
really points to the dramatic success that ERB was experiencing. ERB would continue to feature many more famous people from the internet, which is fitting and makes sense for the format. It's basically the synergistic branding of the time.
Synergy!
Ugh, yuck, I hate that those words came out of my mouth. I also think it's a smart move to have people come on who have some sort of background in music since they are, recording songs after all. Now for what it's worth, Lisa Nova from the previous episode, on top of having her own channel with her Sarah Palin parody, was actually also the co-founder of Maker Studios, who I think produced ERB for most or all of its run. But don't 100% quote me on that. Sometimes once corporate buyouts happen, it can be really hard to tell what company is actually the official production studio. But anyway, that's all to say that Nova was far from a random choice, and her inclusion as the first ever guest star makes a ton of sense with that context. Still, she was more from an acting and business background, which does make me wonder if her, from what I can tell, little to no musical experience, especially at the time, contributed to the subpar quality of the Palin verses. It's hard to tell, and that could easily not be the case. We can only speculate about how the goings-on behind the scenes would impact the finished product, but it is something to think about. What even the ass, man? I'll be real, this epic Peter Hogan costume, I can't make myself stop laughing at it. It's just such a travesty, but it's so perfect. A round of slow claps for everyone who approved of this. Just wow.
The name's Kim Jong, I got a license to ill.
Starting off with a Beastie Boys reference while also making a pun with your name? Yeah, you deserve to get a point right off the bat.
Make you swallow my rhymes like a steroids pill.
Okay, I like that we're already hitting with decent material faster than in previous episodes. I mean, steroids, pills, and 80s wrestlers go pretty much hand in hand. I like the line. I can't vault it. Here's another point to Kim.
Your body looks like a spray tan banana with a walrus mustache and a whack bandana.
I mean, a spray tan banana is not far off from the Hulkster's bod. And he does have a walrus mustache. And his bandana is indeed whack. Rock solid so far.
I'm coming at you like the age of Ric Flair. Bitch, I'll suplex you by your freaking can.
I'll be real, Ric Flair is a pretty arbitrary wrestler name to drop here with a new Asian alter ego. Sure, Hogan and Flair had some major wrestling rivalry back in the day. For the record, I watched the 1991 matchup as research for this one. It was pretty damn entertaining. But Hogan had many rivalries and matched up against so many wrestlers throughout his career. I think Ric Flair was chosen because Kim could rhyme his name with hair, and since that line is pretty funny, I really haven't got a problem with it. So carry on, sir.
Your whole fam's a bunch of Barbies, dude!
I think this is referring to the fact that Hogan's ex-wife, wife at the time, and daughters all do look a lot like living Barbie dolls in a way. But I also do feel like it's too much of a reach for the joke to give it a point. So, neutral here.
You want beef? Eat this Korean barbecue!
Honestly, ew. But also, now I'm thinking about Korean barbecue, which there is one down the street from me. But what I'm not thinking about is rewarding points here.
You got a ringside seat to your own smackdown, brother! You look like Sonic the Hedgehog's mother!
This is just a well-done opening line that hits right. I don't know what else to say, but I know it deserves a point.
Your freak, a phony, a rice-a-roni jabroni!
Here's a point for the rice-a-roni jabroni line, because it so perfectly sums up why Hulk Hogan's speech pattern is so entertaining to listen to in the first place.
I'm gonna bounce you like a check for my alimony!
This alimony line. A little hard to 100% decipher, but I believe it refers to Hulk's wife at the time demanding alimony payments for their teenage son as a part of their massive, messy divorce. Fun fact, this rap actually came out about 9 months before that settlement was made final, and she got about 70% of his net worth of the proceedings. So in hindsight, this line was already a bit of a self-burn, but now it comes off as Hulk giving himself a savage verbal suplex. So definitely a point off.
Come on, dude! All the little Hulksters know! I'll hang you from the ropes like a South Park puppet show!
I feel like the little Hulksters probably know that South Park doesn't have puppets, Peter. No matter how many extra syllables you try to cram in these bars.
I'll chokehold you hostage like Laura Ling!
Oof. Okay, well, story time. This is a heavy one. Laura Ling was an American TV reporter who was doing a report in China near the North Korean border on women who escaped from Korea and then got sold as brides in China. Apparently, some North Korean military personnel captured Laura and her fellow newscaster, what was their name? Yuna Lee, and brought them across the border where they were sentenced to 12 years in North Korean labor camps for illegally entering the country. Somehow, Bill Clinton, of all people, was the one chosen to meet with Kim Jong-il to get them released. This was in 2009, by the way, so way after Clinton was actually the president in office, and fairly recent by even today's standards, and really recent in early 2011. I don't know, it's confusing and was a big crisis, and if you're interested, there's a lot of public information available, but when it comes to this line in this rap, I personally think this is all a bit too heavy to squander on a chokehold pun. So I'm taking a point off for missed potential more than anything.
Brother, I'll leg drop your ass back to Beijing!
Beijing is in China, you blonde ass!
I love that whole exchange, because it is something that I'm sure Hulk would say if he talked about East Asia's geography. But is it point-worthy? After some careful deliberation by the judges, and in a split decision, we are giving it the point.
I'm a god amongst men, you're a suburban commando!
A reference to Ill being considered a god because of his leadership position, and more importantly, the 1991 Hulk Hogan comedy classic in which he plays an alien robot warrior who lands on Earth, and has to learn how to fit in with Christopher Lloyd and his family in their suburban home. This line gets a point because the flex is just too real.
North Korea, bitch, let me give you a tour! By the way, your wife says my is bigger than yours!
Yes, my penis is very grande. This will always be one of the laziest and weakest types of disses, and it will always receive a knock in these ratings unless the creativity is off the charts. The creativity here might actually be below the charts.
Hulk Hogan goes down! I don't know if he can finish the battle! Macho Man versus Summer!
So this is the really big moment, the huge draw of this episode in particular, and it's a gigantic leap of progress. And I'll talk about it more in depth at the end of the video, but at the time this was a galaxy brain move on the part of ERB. Not limiting the battle to just 2 individuals seems so obvious now in hindsight, but in real time they didn't get there until episode 5, and about 5 months into the series' existence. Well worth the wait though. This to me kind of is the moment ERB was fully born into this world.
Ooh yeah, it's about to get real! Watch me snap into a Slim Jim Kim Jong-il!
I'll be real, the line doesn't actually do much of substance, but it's so damn fun to say and sounds so good. Basically, it's the most iconic line from this episode. Also, it's a reference to the famous Macho Man Slim Jim commercial, so how could it not get a point?
I don't like dead little bitches with glasses, but when midgets step up, I stomp midget asses!
It's just not the greatest threat or challenge, and midgets might be an offensive term. I don't know, I kinda wanna just move past it, so how about no points and on to the next one.
Macho Man, there is no equal, so spend less time rapping and start feeding you people!
Oh my, he destroyed him. That's a 3-pointer there, that is. I feel like I don't need to explain, but basically, North Korea is a famously hard place to live if you are a fan of consuming your daily recommended caloric and vitamin intake.
Punk, I'll elbow drop your whole nation! On behalf of the entire World Wrestling Federation!
Well, yeah, should be easy since the whole nation is starving. But for real, this gets a point for literally the same reason as the Slim Jim line. I just enjoy how it sounds so much and the impression feels so right. Also, World Wrestling Federation is what the WWE, the World Wrestling Entertainment, was called before it changed its name after a legal battle with the World Wildlife Fund over the WWF moniker. Fucking pandas, man.
Ooh, yeah.
Wow, that was a close one. And I was not expecting the guest to win, with De La Ghetto crushing Hogan in the first verse, but Lloyd coming in with the Macho Man assist at the last second, and it really is a split decision victory. This battle is a step up all around from everything that came before as far as the technical rapping skill. And this idea of tagging out adds another new innovation to the series. It's actually a huge step because it allows for so many more characters to start entering and opens the door for so many more rap dynamics. It's kind of funny to me that they used a framing device for the tag team and that it's a wrestling match. I feel like the creators didn't even realize they were doing it, but it reminds me of how Super Mario 64 eased gamers into the 3D realm by framing the camera perspective as a literal camera filming the proceedings. Or how The Wizard of Oz has the real world be black and white while the world of Oz is in color to spotlight that technical transition. Obviously, I'm not saying that having two people on one rap team is quite as monumental as The Wizard of Oz, but it is funny how the same sort of framing is used to introduce it, and it really is a huge leap of that caliber as far as the show is concerned. It's crazy when you realize how much progress we've seen over 5 episodes. You can clearly see the effort to produce something of higher quality, utilizing a bigger budget, better equipment, and more talent on and off the screen. Looking back, this is in a lot of ways the first Battle 2.0, a soft reboot if you will. It feels like the first time ERB was being created as a full-time series rather than as a side project, and it was a necessary and successful course correction after the Pale and Gaga episode. I have to wonder if this is the reason this episode in particular received a shiny re-edit much later down the line. It always felt a bit random to only have episode 5 be reimagined with higher production quality and new edits, but it makes sense if the creators themselves also think of this as the proper birth of the series and the true episode 1. Well, we'll see if this progress holds steady and if the budget continues to pay off as a Canadian boy with a dream does battle with a rapping Saint Bernard. Until next time, this has been the Who Won Kid, and I'm signing off. Drop a tip at my coffee link below, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you next time.